Hi there, this is Carol and Shila from Designer Stencils, and we're here for part 2 of our upping my game of my cookie decorating skills. We're back. We have Sheila here. She's going to show me today, well yesterday, she showed me how to flood the cookie. And there's 2 takeaways I got from that one is how to make the cone, which is here. I've always wondered how she made these things. These are fantastic. It's a great way to have just a tiny bit.
And plus it has a lot of control.
Right, whereas the piping bag, every time I used a piping bag, I would squeeze it and it would come out, even if I had the clippers on the end, like holding it there, it just was too big of a bag.
Yes,
so
that's what I like it, because it's so much, you can control over it and it fits in your hand, and
right,
you know, you have the pressure on
and it's not squeezing and getting everywhere,
yes,
which is what was happening to me. And then the other takeaway was how to flood your cookie is I was taking my tip before and just laying it along the edge, and it just, my hand would shake. And so Sheila told me how to just start it and then just let it drape going around. And that was the key.
That worked.
I really like that. Okay, so now today we're going to show you how to do the troweling of the pattern on
now
the
these cookies are dry, so you don't have to worry about anything. It's pretty hard.
Okay, it's been about 24 hours, so
yes,
that'd be good.
Yes.
And we're going to be taking this stencil here, and we're going to be troweling royal icing over it for a raised look. Now, I know from having to demonstrate this to many people, the key to doing this is the consistency of your royal icing.
Correct.
So I've always said, practice on parchment paper. In fact, anytime I mix a batch of royal icing, if I'm doing this at home, I always test it out before I go to my cookie on a piece of parchment to make sure I have the right consistency.
Good idea, because otherwise, you know, you don't want to.
It's gonna be messy.
Right.
So let's take a look at how that works.
Okay, we're going to mix color in the royal icing.
And you can either just do little dabs of that. If you're using a gel color, you could just use a toothpick to get a little bit of color and add that in there. There we go.
Now I'm going to show you, if it is little runny, what's going to happen.
Okay.
So we're going to try both, and we're going to show you if it's really, now see, this is real, I think this is really runny, but we're going to show you if it is like this, what happens.
Exactly. Even if we were using the icing from yesterday where it was still dripping off of our spoon a little bit, that's still a little runny.
Correct.
Okay, so let's take a look. Let's do it right here so everyone can see. I'm gonna put the stencil.
Well, you try.
All right, thanks. So I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna spread it across. Well, first of all, I can already tell it's not gonna give me much of a raised edge because it's just kind of running through the thing. But then when I lift it up, actually it's not horrible. It gives you a bubbly look, which that's fine if you're working on something that is like this, but if you're doing the side of the cake, I know that that would not work. So let's just put a little bit more on there. We're spreading it across.
There. See how it.
All right. So this is what happens when your icing is way too runny. It's just gonna run. And here it is where it's bubbly. You have to be really careful. So you can, like I said, on horizontal surfaces like this, you can go a little thinner with it, but you just have to be extra careful with the way you're applying it. So I don't do that one. It's just a little too precarious for me. So I'm gonna take all that extra off. And then we're not gonna be, see that stencils definitely has to be washed at this point,
yes.
because that's not gonna work. All right.
Now I added a little bit darker color in here so you guys can see, because that was, I think, a little light. So I just,
Okay.
now look at the consistency of this. See how, you know, it's not as runny as it was before.
Okay.
Like, let me show you the bowl. See how this is so runny and this is a little thicker?
It's just getting ready to drop off of your spoon.
Yes, and
There
see
you
how
go.
this is.
Okay, so we
So
want
that's
it
the
more like that.
consistency you want.
Okay. I'll wipe off through there. Okay. So let me practice on here. We'll see. Okay. So
You
I
know,
like these little spatulas. You can use an offset knife or the spatula, but I again, it's kind of like these things. I like my hand right down.
Yes,
where
it
I'm
has a
putting it.
better control that way, and it goes, it's flat, and it has a little bit
of give to it.
Correct.
Yeah. You know what I've always told people, save your old credit cards
card.
or your
You
old
can use some
library,
credit
like
cards.
even those fake credit cards that come in the mail.
Sure.
I
you can
save
use
those
anything.
and spread that across. All right, so now we're gonna spread. Yeah, you have to have something to help hold it so it doesn't move on you. So an extra finger, or I know some people will use like a little, one of those little knives, something like that. We had a tool yesterday that would have worked really well to hold it below. Now, another thing that happens, if you lift up like this though, sometimes I've done that, and
the whole thing
stencil-
lifts.
Yeah, the whole
Yes.
stencil goes, and then you
and you do it on a 45 degree angle.
Okay.
So,
There we go. We're gonna smooth it out, right?
and I wouldn't go this many times. I would just do once and
then be
leave
done.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I wouldn't go again
So-
and again over it.
So I'm doing it too much, huh?
Yes.
All right, then I'm gonna hold on one side and peel up on the other. There we go.
Perfect.
Now here, I think, see how it kind of bled through right there, and that probably is because I kept going over and over.
You kept going over and over. Just do it once and let it go.
Okay. And the other thing is, if that happens on your piece of parchment, you can always add more powdered sugar to this to make it a little thicker.
And also, if you want, you can just use a tool and just make it separate, you know.
Oh, that's a great idea. Use a tool or a toothpick or
Or
something
a
like
toothpick or something, you know, if it's a little bit.
Oh, and that way
That
you
helps.
can
It
define
cleans
the
up.
roots.
It
Cleans
cleans
it up.
up.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. This is again, I think the other times that I've used it has been just a little thicker than
A little
this.
thicker than this?
But you know what? If you do this too thick though, then it's not going to be. It's going to pick up on the side, and you're going to have puckered edges.
Let me see if I do it once, what happens.
Put that down right there. Okay, let's see how she does that. Your hand might be in the way. There we go. Now everyone can see. She does it perfectly every time.
Well, it's just practice, you know, I'm sure it.
Practice
and-
makes
and
perfect.
yes.
That's right.
So,
Okay. All right, so now we're going to
Let me
go
clean
clean
it.
our stencils and we'll be back. Okay, so we've washed our stencils, and I think we were talking about this royal icing. I find it's a little too runny for me, and I think I want to do it the right way. So we're gonna add just a tiny bit of royal icing, or actually powdered sugar to our royal icing, just to thicken it up a tiny little bit. I know Sheila can handle it that thin, but I don't trust myself.
no, and also I think this was really flat, and it's a paper.
Right.
And this is a little raised, so I think even that makes a difference.
Okay. All right, so I'll just thicken it up a tiny bit. There you go. I always say it's like marshmallow fluff.
Yes.
Once you get it to marshmallow fluff consistency, you're good to go. All right, let's see if I can do this. And now I'm gonna put that on there. I'll load it up with enough to do a swipe, right? I've got it lined up. Oops. My finger in the middle. And
there you go.
that's enough, right?
It's enough. Don't go
Okay.
back over it.
And you don't want this to dry. You want to pull the stencil off right away. Right away. Ah!
Ooh.
Yes. See? I messed it up. I still think I need it thicker.
You want it thicker more?
I think I need it thicker.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we can do it.
All right. So we're gonna end up with cleaning the stencil, and I'm gonna have to clean my cookie off.
We'll take this cookie.
Yeah, but they're gonna think that I screwed up.
Well, I think it's you should know and the right consistency. So you are doing it right. It happened. It happens to everybody, and
Okay.
I think the more you practice, the more you know how much thick, how much thin you want the consistency to be. I mean, it's you have to mess up to learn.
All right. All right. I will.
I mean, I must have done it thousands and thousands of times. So.
Well, that's
You know,
why
the
we're here,
more-
is to up my game.
Yes,
All right.
yes, exactly.
So these are problems that we all have. So try
And
again.
everybody has it. I mean, just
Okay.
needs practice. You know that. I mean, this is a good learning curve. You know, I mean, you know now that you wanted it more thicker.
Okay.
And
So now we
usually,
want to.
I like to put it on the parchment paper here and take it from there.
Oh, okay.
That's what I do.
Oh, with your trowel.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is definitely thicker. See how you can get more on my trowel with that? Okay. Second time. We're gonna try this one. Oh yeah.
That's better.
It's more of a paste.
See, we are showing you if it's too liquid, what happens, and if it's too thick, what happens, and it's the right consistency of the thickness.
Right. Okay. Wait. There. And then let's see if this one works. Oops. My icing's a little crusty. That's another thing is I don't. There we go. Now I'm gonna smooth across everything. I think this is gonna work. Okay. Dun dun dun. Perfect.
Perfect.
Yay. All right, so now we're gonna show
Good job.
everybody. See, it's all in the consistency as we were talking about before. So if it starts out runny, add some royal icing to it and make it more of a paste consistency. But then you don't want it so thick.
Correct.
So that when I lift this up, did you notice that before I lifted it up, I kind of scraped an even amount across there? But if you left a lot of it on there and it's this thick, when you lift the stencil up, these edges would pucker up and be kind of a raised
show the
edge.
crust, and it'll show the raised.
It's you're crusty. That's a nice way to put it. It's very
exactly,
crusty.
exactly. Oh,
Okay.
that's wonderful.
All right, let's see the pro do it on yours. Okay, so now if it's running behind there, you're gonna have to wash your stencil. But sometimes you can just go like this and see how it's just very dry back there. So the openings are still open. So she should be able to be fine to do that. All right, so now the pro's gonna do it. See, that's probably too thick for you, huh?
Well, I will see.
I always say for beginners, start with the icing thicker, and as you get more comfortable with it, then you can start going thinner, like Sheila does. The one plus about it being a little on the thinner side though, is that mine's very flat, but as we were showing over here on this one, see how that has bubbled kind of edges to it?
See, for me it is crusty.
Oh yeah.
See how crusty it is?
See how thick that is? And it's a crusty edge, so we don't like that. So we're gonna take that off, and she's gonna thin this out and show us how to get the bubbled edge on there.
Can you see how it is? It's puckered like a...
Picks up on the side.
Yeah.
And it's like you wanna pat it down. Okay.
And if it is thin and you shake it, it falls down the icing, and it...
All right.
Let me go wash it.
All right, so we're gonna take this off, wash the stencils, and then we're gonna go and do it with thinner icing. Okay.
We wanted to show you, it's not perfect.
Right, practice makes perfect.
You have to practice, and we want to show you exactly what you're going to do for the first time if it happens.
Right.
So, you know, some people always have it all perfect and yours is not perfect. So how did they do it? But we wanted to show you.
We mess up too. Like I said,
right.
I don't do this on a regular basis, so that's why I have Shila here trying to teach me how to perfect what I'm doing. So, if anything, start out with it with a thicker icing, but scrape all the way down to the surface on your stencil. Because if you don't, like she just did on our cookie before, if you leave more icing on the top, you lift it up, you're gonna have puckered edges.
And like for her, it works for everybody different because the amount of pressure you're putting, that also helps. So for her, that worked.
Right, and I scraped all the excess off too.
Correct, but for me, it didn't work because I'm used to a little thinner than yours.
Right,
so
and you apply more.
It's
right.
just practice.
So she's adding some water to the royal icing and making it to the consistency she likes. And we're hoping that when she does this, it'll have those bubbled edges, so you can see what that looks like. We're just using some of that runny royal icing from the beginning of the video to help thin it down, or you could just add water to it. Okay, so here, let's get this here for you. Okay, so you have your stencil. There you go. See, that's filling it up and flowing right in there. You missed a little bit right there. And lift it directly off. Now it puckered a little bit when she pulled it off, but see, you can tell it's so wet. But then you just shake it a little bit.
Just shake it and tap it a little bit.
So see how she has the bubbled edges? And mine is flat. So it's two totally different looks. I'm gonna stick with this one for right now, and as I perfect this one, I'll probably try and do yours someday. But again, here are a couple areas where, since there's so much royal icing, when it flows down, they connect. So then you can take that little tool we had before, there's that little pick tool, and you could just open those up a tiny little bit as it starts to dry.
I don't know if you can see, but it does work.
Yeah, see how we pick that up right in there. Okay, so now we're going to let these, yours is going to need to dry for a while.
Yours is dry.
Mine's dry, and we're going to take it to the next step, because this is beautiful the way it is, but now this is what I really want to learn from Shila, is how to make her little dots. Her dots are absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see in, let's see if I can show you this picture right there. These are the samples she's done for us, and which is the one, that's the one that we're doing right now, but see this one with all the little dots all over it? That's what I will learn how to do. So we're gonna take some parchment and practice, right?
Make sure it's flowing. It's probably dry. It gets a little crusty.
Oh, because these are from yesterday. These are the ones we were using yesterday. Yes, these are from yesterday.
So you have to make sure.
So what did we do with these overnight? Did we just leave them here on the counter?
We put it in we put it in the plastic bag, in a Ziploc bag, airtight, or you can put it in an airtight container.
Okay.
and then put it in the fridge.
Oh, okay. That way it keeps it from getting all
And
hard.
I would hold it from here.
Okay. From
Right.
up here. Oh, up there.
Yeah. That's where I hold it, but it's, I mean, you'll have,
Oh, look,
once
see there,
you,
it's coming out.
once you start using, practicing, you will know where to hold it and how to hold it and what's comfortable on your hand. You know, so it just needs practice and
Okay, so
whatever.
before we're going to here, we're going to practice
We're going
on
to
here.
practice on the,
Good.
and it also depends on the big dots and the small dots, is like how you cut it.
So maybe I could have two different ones, one with a thin and one with a...
Yes, the thicker one that we used it for the outline of the cookie.
Right?
You need a thicker one for that.
Oh, a bigger opening.
Bigger opening. And
Okay.
and for dots, you know, you just need a little tiny ones.
Okay, because when I've tried to do dots before, they don't look like a dot. They look like an oval. They fall
Because
over.
that's too liquid.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
It
show
has
me
to
how-
be firm and it doesn't have to flow or anything like that. It's just, you just press a very little, and if you
And do
have,
to lift up or what? Oh, I see. You're moving your little
yeah,
tip
you
around.
move, you move your tip around. See, you just very little. It's the pressure how you put it.
All right. So let me see. Ooh. Now, what if it has a little pucker like that?
It'll go down.
Okay.
Don't press it too hard. You should know.
Oh, I see. Like that.
There you go. See, you should know how
Oh.
much pressure you're putting.
That's so
There
much
you
easier.
go. Yeah, that's so nice.
See, that's my problem. Is I was always going down like that.
No,
and
you
seeing
just
how
touch
leaves
it
tail.
a little bit. That way.
Look at how perfect hers are. Oh
Well,
my
yes,
goodness.
yes. Look
They're
at
getting
yes,
there.
yes, yeah, it's
They're
getting there.
Okay.
It's getting there.
So this is how you can take your cookie and really elevate the look of it
Correct.
by adding this.
Yes.
Okay.
It just gives, the more decoration you add, and that little dot makes your cookie special.
Sure.
It's just not stenciling,
And it's
you
not so
know,
flat.
and it's not so flat. Exactly.
Well, what's nice is that I'm not an artist. You definitely are. But I would look at a cookie, a blank cookie like this, and go,
what am
I
I
don't know.
supposed to do?
I don't know how to start. So at least the stencil gets a design down
Exactly.
there.
It's a
and
base.
It's a base. Right.
Correct.
And now I can take that and embellish
And
on it.
enhance it. Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So I think what I want to do is each of these little flowers, I want to put a white dot
Correct.
in the middle. Okay,
Go
so
for
I'm
it.
going to start with a big one
Go
here.
for it.
And at least that has a dot already there.
There
so
you go.
I'm going to make that one
Wow,
bigger.
Look how pretty that looks.
All right, so this one I want a tiny one. Ooh, okay.
It's the pressure how much you're putting. If you want it bigger, just put a
So I
little
just
bit
want-
more pressure.
Okay. And like pipe more out.
Correct.
Okay.
Look how pretty that looks.
Oh, this isn't as bad as I thought.
No.
It's
Look,
all in this
oh my
thing.
gosh, look at that.
See, now I could just leave that the way it is and be totally fine with that. But you always go around and do dots around the
I
outer
like
edge.
to do dots around the edges, and all you do is the same thing.
You
Just
make
be
them a little bigger?
patient. Be patient.
How big should I make them the same size or bigger? Like how big do I want to make them? Like
A little
that?
bit bigger than that. There you go. There you go.
And then just space them whatever way I want.
Correct.
Okay.
And it also needs practice, like I said.
Well, this is
There
where
you
you
go.
have
Really good.
you want to get them
Very
even, but
It's coming very even, Carol. You're doing a good job.
okay. Well, we'll see how it comes when I get to the corner. See, this is the first time I've done this right. So if I
See,
can,
it's not
if I
hard.
can
It
do it,
just
you
needs
guys can do
practice. You surely can do it. It's just practice. You just, I mean, if it doesn't work like we did it on the parchment paper, practice. You know how much pressure to put. You know how big you want. You know how small you want. The more pressure you put, the more icing will come out. And also it depends on how much you have cut. If you want a real small, tiny dot, just cut a little bit. Oh, that looks excellent.
And if it doesn't turn out right, I can give it to my husband, right?
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Wow.
And she did it for the first time, and look how she's a pro now.
It's this thing.
Really?
It really is. I just have totally failed with the piping bag.
Yeah, I'm not used to the piping bag. I'm always used to this because
You do your henna painting.
Yeah, henna painting with this. So I'm so used to this.
Okay. I bet if like one of these didn't turn out right, that I could, when it dried, I could go and flick it off and then put it in.
Sure.
Now I did get a little further apart on this side than I did on that side. See, it's a little wide. See, I put more space in between the dots than I did there. So I have
It's
to
the
think
first
about
time.
that.
It's the first time.
And
So
you know
it always.
I should probably have been moving the cookie along like this
Yes.
rather than reaching
Yes,
across
Yes.
to do it. Look at how fast she is. It's like just dot, dot, dot.
Well, I've been doing it for so long, so.
She can do
But
this
you
with
did.
her eyes closed.
You did it for the first time, and look.
That's great.
You know, it's.
We're gonna watch her finish up this cookie. Look at that.
And also the other thing, if you cannot space it like that, you go one here, divide it into it,
Oh, that's a good way to do
and
it.
then put two
Fill
or
it
three
in.
in, so it will be, it'll be even.
So be more geometric with it.
Correct.
Okay. Nice.
And I think when you practice, you will know how much pressure to put, like I said before. It's just.
Yeah, practice, practice. There we go. And then put in your middles.
And then, the more you do, you say, oh, I want a dot all like inside it. I want to fill it in with a different color or.
Well, that's true. You could have different bags with different colors or
Correct.
dots.
Correct.
Okay. There you go. Wow.
Look at that.
That's amazing. All right.
Perfect.
See? So you too can do this. Definitely practice. Make this. Watch our first video to find out how we made these cones out of just a plastic bag. You can use a Ziploc bag or just some regular plastic that you have and your parchment paper. And you're ready to go.
Anything what you have at home will.
Well, thank you,
work it.
Sheila. Until our next
welcome.
project,
You were
go
a
home
pro,
and try it
yeah.
out yourself. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, am I gonna topple off?
Did you get 2 or 1?
I got the 2. So we'll
And it's
see.
still-
No, it's fine. I'm gonna have to